little over 48 hours ago, I got released from prison. It's hard for me to believe that I'm actually home. My first 2 nights in my own bed, in my own room, without a cloud of cigarette smoke and people making all kinds of noise and COs yelling about standing on the count. Everything else, I could barely sleep. My first night, I actually got no sleep. But I'm home, and it's just starting to sink in that I'm able to start over. Somebody a lot more intelligent than me believed that my life and my experiences were so unbelievable and so interesting that they were worthy enough to be documented in a book. And then a professional literary agent in New York City decided that that book and my experiences were so marketable that he was going to represent the book. And now, thanks to publicity for the book, my name's been kicked around on the radio and in the news, and I'm not exactly comfortable with it, but I figure if somebody else plans to benefit off my experiences and my bad decisions and my name, then I might as well try to use my name and my experiences to not only benefit myself, but who knows, maybe I can do some good for somebody else. My first night home, 2 parole officers showed up at my house in my kitchen and told me that it would be a bad idea for me to do interviews and talk to people on the radio and on the news, and that for whatever reason my case was being talked about left and right. Basically, that I didn't want people from the Capitol calling up to the parole offices in Rochester and demanded to know why I was on the radio. But I figure it's still my right as a parolee to talk into a camera and put it up on YouTube. I'm hoping to talk about my experiences and provide some commentary on current events that happen in the news. I mean, I've always found it interesting that whether it's Fox or MSNBC or CNN or whatever news channel you turn into, the only people that they get commentary from are all judges and DAs and former police officers. Nobody ever talks to the ex-con or the parolee. It's interesting, everybody always thinks that we're dumb and we're pathological liars and we're all narcissists and that we're manipulators. And it's interesting because those people who apply those labels to us, 99 times out of 100, they've never even talked to a parolee or ex-con and figured out what kind of a person they really were. With all this publicity about the book that's coming out about me, I had all these ideas for having somebody come to the prison with a camera and record me getting out of prison. But the person I had in mind for it, Susan, who wrote the book about me, Albany decided that her and I shouldn't have contact with each other. She called and wrote everybody in Albany that she could, demanding to have her name removed from a parole condition that bars me from contact with certain individuals. Susan was never a victim or a witness. She never had an order of protection against me, and there's no reason for me to be barred from contact with her. It was interesting because in those conditions, they originally left my victim's name out, but put in Susan's name. They said it was an oversight to not include the victim's name, but they never addressed not including Susan's name. In my first night home, my parole officer told me to talk to him in a couple months and we'll figure out if I still want to have contact with Susan about me being allowed to have contact with her. But I'm not allowed to have contact with her because somebody in Albany, the state capital, decided that Susan, as a grown woman who's intelligent and a member of the press, doesn't know what's best for her, that they know what's best for her. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to have Susan come to the prison with a camera and record me getting out. The other people who were willing to come pick me up, they all have jobs. Didn't feel right asking them to take a whole day off, to drive hours, to come sit at a prison for hours and pick me up and drive home for hours. I didn't want somebody to take a $200, $300 hit. So I had to prison bring me to the train station, and I caught a train back to Rochester, and here I am. But my plan was to have some video footage of me getting out of prison and the ride home and seeing my family members for the first time and my dog and everybody else, but it didn't work out as planned. I was able to get a little camera while I was waiting for the train to take me back to Rochester. I'm planning to keep making videos and sticking them up on YouTube so people can follow along and see what it's like to be a parolee and the struggle to become a productive member of society when parole's got a bookload of restrictions on you about what you can't and can't do. I don't blame anybody but myself, though. I put myself in this situation, and I'm going to be the only one who can get myself out of it. But I'm going to keep on making videos and keep on putting them up there, and hopefully people actually watch them.